Hey, little spoiler warning for you before we get started. Anything from the books we've already covered can and will be discussed. So that's anything for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and also The Lost Hero. So that does include spoilers for the Sea of Monsters. So if you haven't done the pre-reading, be warned. Welcome back to Demigod Debut. I'm Mal, Luke hater and longtime Percy Jackson fan.
And I'm Julie, Percy Jackson newbie, and still Clarice hater, but I kind of get it. I kind of get it. She's funny in this episode.
Oh, this is huge. Wow.
I still don't like her because she's a bully. Okay,
no, that's fair. And this is a podcast about all of us watching season 2 of the Percy Jackson TV show for the first time. I liked this one more than episode 5. I feel like we're back on the upswing.
Yes. This was a good one.
Yeah, I still don't think it's quite as good as episode 4. Like I wonder if that's going to end up being like the best episode of the season. Perhaps the best episode of the show so far. Like episode 4 ruled.
That was a good one. This one was also kind of short.
It was very short.
Like what?
Like
half an hour?
I thought you promised us like 40 to 50-minute episodes, guys. This was like less than 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there were several times that like I thought the episode was going to end earlier than it actually did.
True. There were some weird cuts toward the end.
Yeah, like there was a lot of the like fade to black commercial break situations, like the one where Grover is standing there and he's like, "We got the fleece," and then it cuts to black. I was like, "Okay, it's the end of the episode," and then it like wasn't.
Yeah, weird editing choice, I think.
Yeah, the commercials on streaming are really an interesting choice.
But the thing is, like, if you don't have like the commercial tier, like if you pay extra, like you just get like a weird experience. I feel like.
Yeah, you just get the weird like fade to black.
Yeah, you're like, that was kind of stark.
And I'm rich and I don't have commercials. I actually like I have no idea. I don't think when I joined Disney Plus there was like the option for commercials, so I guess that's why I don't have commercials because
No.
I am like not I don't shell out money to not have commercials, so I like don't know why I don't have commercials, but the fade to blacks are weird. And like I can get over it. It was just like this was the first episode that I really even noticed them at all. It was just like I thought that the episode was ending several times.
Right.
Yeah, so important start to the episode. Your boy is back. He's alive.
Thank the Lord.
He is sinking through the water.
Didn't love that.
Which is like not great.
No.
But then he has sort of a similar moment to what Percy has in episode 4 of the first season, where he has this like I can breathe underwater moment, which I enjoyed. His did feel less dramatic, but we'll allow it because we also get the return of the bracelet and therefore the return of Rainbow. And you know, he like turns around and there's all this rainbow lighting on his face, you know, because gay rights. And honestly, like watching that for the first time, my thought was like, "Oh, Tyson's coming out. Good for him."
Tyson could be a bi king. I see it.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, he doesn't need to know because he's like
He's a baby.
What, the equivalent of like an 8-year-old?
Sometimes kids know that early, though.
Some people know at 8. Yeah, Tyson
probably not.
Tyson could be a bi king. I'm. Never mind.
What? Say it.
Well, Tyson does have a romantic interest. Later in the book.
What?
So prepare yourself for that.
Oh. I don't think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, I don't think you will because I don't.
Dang.
Okay, so yeah, know that that's coming. Anyway, okay, so then post Tyson, we like cut to Percy having a dream, and he turns around, and the floor of the big house is like full of dead kids. This was a jump scare.
They didn't look dead to me. Is that weird? Like, was that just like a thing I couldn't see?
Well, I mean, they didn't kill the kids for real. It was the open eyes like staring off in the distance for me that I was like, oh, I think these children are dead.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I just thought they were just kind of lying there. Like, that's weird.
They're just hanging out, sleep over in the big house.
Yeah.
No, or perhaps I'm just like a pessimist or something for the worst possible thing, but I was like, that's a lot of dead children. Yikes. And we get our like robed figure that we usually associate with Kronos coming in with the lantern and everything. And then this figure like shocks Percy with lightning and he wakes up and like clutches his chest. Very dramatic. And enjoy the way that we cut this dream into pieces to really, like, I don't know, build the tension and all that jazz. It is a little wild to me that Percy and Annabeth are just like sitting in this boat offshore.
Like, were they anchored or were they just floating?
I mean, I would assume that they're anchored somehow. But my bigger concern is like, I understand Annabeth has a plan, but the way she's like, oh, you know, his hearing and smell are really good. Like, I feel like the longer you sit there, the more chance you have that, like, Polyphemus is going to hear you or smell you.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like it's asking a lot for him not to, like, notice this ship versus, like, if you got out and you, like, camped on the beach, perhaps.
Like, further away where it's not as conspicuous.
Yeah, like, I understand not charging in right away. I do. But to just sit on the boat, it feels like they are too close to be chilling there. So they either need to, like, get off the boat and just be like people on the island. I don't know. It was stressing me. I was like, he's gonna find them, but then obviously he doesn't. But so then we also have like a conversation between Percy and Annabeth here where he tells her about this dream that he was having and how he thought it was Kronos as this robed figure. And I gotta say, it's kind of sexist of Annabeth to assume that it had to be a he. Like, girls can be spooky robed figures in lanterns too.
Yeah, what the heck?
And I do enjoy that she's like she immediately can clock like, oh, it was Thalia, wasn't it? And I went back to the book because I was like, Percy dreams about Thalia at least once before this point, and I thought it was in Sea of Monsters. Turns out it's not. He dreams about her in The Lightning Thief. And it is a different dream. She is not, like, dressed up as Kronos, but here's the quote from The Lightning Thief. And this comes, like, immediately before his dream that he has where he sees, like, Luke talking to Kronos about, like, the exchange and, like, he has no idea what's happening and, like, all these things. But so this is the Thalia part. So it says, my nightmare started out as something I dreamed a million times before. I was being forced to take a standardized test while wearing a straitjacket. All the other kids were going out to recess, and the teacher kept saying, come on, Percy, you're not stupid, are you? Pick up your pencil. Then the dream strayed from the usual. I looked over to the next desk and saw a girl sitting there, also wearing a straitjacket. She was my age, with unruly black punk-style hair, dark eyeliner around her stormy green eyes, and freckles across her nose. Somehow I knew who she was. She was Thalia, daughter of Zeus. She struggled against the straitjacket, glared at me in frustration, and snapped, well, seaweed brain, one of us has to get out of here. She's right, my dream self thought. I'm going back to that cavern. I'm going to give Hades a piece of my mind. The straitjacket melted off of me. I fell through the classroom floor. The teacher's voice changed until it was cold and evil, echoing from the depths of a great chasm. And then this is where you get like the Luke Kronos bit. But
is that when I thought it was Punk Annabeth?
Yes, that is when you thought it was Punk Annabeth.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you were like, there can't be another girl. It's got to be Punk Annabeth. There can only be one girl in the middle grades fantasy series.
Yeah, this is a 2000 era book. Just one girl.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, she's always wearing some sort of weird costume in Percy's dream. In the book, it's a straitjacket. In this, it's a cloak. I don't know. It was a weird thing to learn that like he doesn't dream about her in the Sea of Monsters book, because I just thought that he would. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that this was in the Sea of Monsters, but it is not. It's also, people comment a lot on the fact that this is, you know, like Thalia's first appearance, and she's written to have green eyes, and then every time after this she's written to have blue eyes. And Rick Riordan has straight up said, yeah, I forgot what color her eyes were.
Maybe she's heterophobic or whatever it's called.
Heterochromia?
Yes. Sorry, I had to say it.
But also, I mean, maybe you are a little heterophobic if you join the Hunters with the whole, like, no dating thing.
And rightfully so, in my opinion.
And the whole thing that Percy says after that about, like, my mom likes dreams because they never lie.
Weird.
I don't know about that, because, like, I have had some weird dreams.
And then they kind of cover it up with, like, well, just because you don't know what it means doesn't mean it's a lie or whatever. And I was like, no, sometimes you have nightmares or, like, weird stuff. Like,
sometimes your brain makes stuff up. Like, I'm trying to think of a dream that I've had recently, but I have not had any, like, recent.
Yeah, like, I don't even think doctors and scientists really understand how dreams work, so I think your dreams can lie. Your subconscious can lie to you.
Right, and I think, like, we have this whole sort of plot line where we're wondering, you know, what would Thalia do if she was here, because Annabeth thinks one thing, Luke thinks another thing, and then it's like, was Annabeth too young to really know, and all that jazz. So, like, I think why would Percy's dreams be telling him the truth when he is getting like very secondhand information about Thalia from all these different people? Like,
yeah.
This feels to me like his own anxieties about like Kronos and making the right choice and all these, like, I don't think that this is telling you that like Thalia is going to appear as Kronos. Though I did see people theorizing that when Thalia returns, she is going to shock him with lightning, and I feel like maybe that's what this dream isn't lying about. Like, she really is going to attack him.
I hope so. I think it'd be funny.
I think it would be funny as well. And I think, Thalia deserves her chance because Percy, like, really kicks her ass in Titan's Curse, and I think Thalia deserves a chance to kick his.
Redemption.
I pulled another book quote because I was like, and it doesn't even happen in this episode, but the way that Annabeth talks about Thalia and how, like, she has that whole moment where she's like, maybe I didn't know her, maybe I don't actually know what she would do. But I pulled the bit from the Sea of Monsters where she was talking about Thalia kind of after the Princess Andromeda with Percy. And so here it is. What did he mean? I asked. That Thalia would have been on his side. He's wrong. You don't sound sure. Annabeth glared at me, and I started to wish I hadn't asked her about this while she was holding a knife. Classic Percy. Percy, you know who you remind me of most? Thalia. You guys are so much alike, it's scary. I mean, either you would have been best friends or you would have strangled each other. Let's go with best friends. Thalia got angry with her dad sometimes. So do you. Would you turn against Olympus because of that? I stared at the quiver of arrows in the corner. No. Okay then, neither would she. Luke's wrong. And, like, I don't know that show Annabeth even believes this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think Luke really, really got in her head about Thalia.
Yes. Damn it, Luke.
How could you do this to us, Luke?
Leave Annabeth alone.
Leave Annabeth alone in all the ways. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Get out of there, Luke. I don't know. Like, it almost feels like this dream, like, it would almost make more sense if this dream had came to Annabeth, because she very clearly has a lot of, like, anxiety about, whether she really knew Thalia at all. And so, like, I don't know, it's interesting that this is a Percy dream.
Yeah.
But we've never actually seen an Annabeth dream on screen.
True. That would have been an interesting, I think. I kind of want like an Annabeth-centered episode.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is a good book to do it with because she's really wrestling with like her past relationship with Luke and now with Thalia. Like, I thought that would have been a good move.
Yeah. I would love an Annabeth episode. Ooh,
come on.
Not to bring up season 4 again, but it would be fun to have an Annabeth-centered episode when Percy is gone on Calypso's island. Like, you get Percy's episode on the island and then Annabeth's episode, what she's doing while he's gone. Because I am very curious about what she does when he's missing and presumed dead. I've read many a fanfic, and
I'm sure you have.
People have likely thing for me to do.
Yeah.
My god, I've been reading so much fanfic these last few weeks. Not Percy Jackson, but like
heated rivalry, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I saw a tweet that was like, I have not felt this way about a bunch of boys since One Direction, and like that's how I feel.
Yes, I saw that.
If you're an adult, you should watch Heated Rivalry. Anyway. So then we have Polyphemus having in his like villain monologue era. And the first thing he says is, alone. That's the real beauty of my island. And you know what? That's fair, because not much of the rest of the island is that beautiful. Like, it's much more barren than I thought the island was going to be.
Yeah. Ugly. Kind of ugly.
Yeah, it's like described in the book as this like lush, beautiful island, like because of the fleece. And like, it's not very green at all.
No.
And he also, like, he says some stuff about, like, the gift of living alone, and I'm just like, R.I.P. Polyphemus, you would hate living in a Brooklyn apartment with 5 roommates. Like, you'll never know the joy that
yeah,
and the frustration that can bring. And it's also kind of sad the way that he's like, you gotta rely only on yourself to protect your treasures. All outsiders are enemies or food. It's sort of giving Hades Town to me, the one version of the Epic 3 that talks about, like, what he's building his walls around is already gone. Like, you work so hard to protect this thing, but it's like, does it even really matter? I don't know. I was just like, is there any point in being here alone with this fleece? Like, what's the point of it all?
Well, he's got a sheep.
I mean, I guess.
He doesn't eat them, does he?
The sheep kind of freak me out. I think they have creepy eyes.
Yeah. No sheep for Mal.
I think he does eat the sheep, though.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
And you can't even really be friends with them because, you're gonna eat them.
The other thing that I think is possibly a pun, he says, I learned long ago, if you don't trust nobody, then you live. And I was like, oh, Odyssey reference? And then, Clarice, of course, yells at him. It's like, for someone who likes to be alone, you can't seem to shut up. And I'm just wondering, like, how is Clarice doing with the concussion that she most likely still has after all the knocks to the head last episode? And I think this is another area in which we are missing lore in the TV show, because in the book, something is said about, like, demigods healing slightly faster than mortals anyway, but then we also, like, we don't have nectar and ambrosia, we don't have all these things. Like, Clarice is remarkably fine, despite being knocked on the head to the point of passing out twice last episode. Like, tell me the lore on these demigod healing powers that she clearly has.
Yeah, she's taken a couple nasty falls. Like, she's not living her best life.
But her hair still looks great. She still looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
None of them really look, like,
disheveled,
scraggly enough after everything that they've been. Also, Polyphemus's voice collection is probably my least favorite thing
I don't like it.
I've ever heard. I hate it so much. Like, it's serial killer behavior. Like, why are you taking a souvenir
That's
from
exactly
all of your
what
victims?
it is. Oh my god.
And I mean, I think it does a good job of, like, making him
creepy,
seem scary. Like, yeah, it's like it's doing its job. I'm like, I hate this. But, like, honestly, I would love to be on a quest with the satyr who taught Polyphemus about classic rock and anime. Like, I bet that guy was fun.
Yeah.
It's also fun, he takes, the shovel and puts it down and it's, like, dripping gold paint, which is foreshadowing that I did not catch the first time. I was like, oh, interesting, what's dripping off his shovel? Like, it took until, like, Annabeth had to tell me what was going on with the fleece before I caught it, but yeah, I don't know. I thought, like, the little foreshadowy bits that they put in there are very good.
I definitely caught that the first time, totally.
I was about to be so impressed. Okay, and then the other thing that's interesting is that Grover asks how he learned that it would, like, the fleece would lure satyrs to the island, and, like, how he knew it would smell like Pan, and Polyphemus is like, who do you think brought the fleece here in the first place?
That really confused me, because I guess I don't understand why Pan would have it and why he would bring it to Polyphemus's island at all.
See, that is also my question, because I googled, like, golden fleece Pan, and that actually led me to sort of a fun little tidbit, which was, like, what might potentially be the origin of the golden fleece myth. And so apparently there was a method used for panning gold that they used in, like, what is now Georgia, which is, like, where Colchis would be, which is, like, where the golden fleece sort of originated.
Wait, Georgia is the country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They would stretch them out over, like, wooden frames, and then they would put them in the river and then let them dry, and then they would comb out all the gold, and so, like, you would have this fleece drying in the tree that had a bunch of gold in it, and so it would be, like, sparkling and golden, and so people think, like, that is where this myth originated, which I was like, huh, that's really interesting. But I could find nothing about the god Pan being, like, tied to the fleece at all, other than, like, the Riordan wiki coming up and saying that, like, the fleece smells like Pan. So that part may just be, like, a Rick Riordan original. Yeah. But I went back to the book again to see, like, because I know Annabeth explains to Percy the origin of the fleece. And so this is what Annabeth tells Percy. So, just listen, the real story of the fleece. There were these two children of Zeus, Cadmus and Europa, okay? They were about to get offered up as human sacrifices when they prayed to Zeus to save them. So Zeus sent this magical flying ram with golden wool, which picked them up in Greece and carried them all the way to Colchis in Asia Minor. Well, actually, it carried Cadmus. Europa fell off along the way, but that's not important. And then Percy says, it was probably important to her. And then Annabeth continues, the point is, when Cadmus got to Colchis, he sacrificed the golden ram to the gods and hung up the fleece in a tree in the middle of the kingdom. The fleece brought prosperity to the land. Animals stopped getting sick, plants grew better, farmers had bumper crops, plagues never happened. That's why Jason wanted the fleece. It'll revitalize any land where it's placed. Online, referring to the same myth, they use different names for the characters. Like, I couldn't find... I also didn't look that hard, but, like, every article I was pulling up called them Phrixus and Hele? Helle.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it was like the same general idea. So I don't know if this is like a Greek versus Roman names thing or something, but I don't know. I thought that the different names was interesting, and I don't know why it is, but it is. But yeah, point being, I found nothing about Pan and why Pan would... Honestly, the Golden Fleece, like, once Jason has it, I couldn't really find anything after that point either. Like, it's just kind of like Jason has it, he takes it back. There's a whole thing with Medea, and then what happens to the fleece after that? So, like, I guess it's not outside the realm of possibility that, like, Pan could have had it and could have, like, brought it to this island to, like, make a little nature sanctuary or something. Like, I think Polyphemus could be telling the truth here, but I don't think that Pan did this, like, maliciously to trap satyrs.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't make much sense.
Because that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what Polyphemus is implying, but I think it's, like, more of a, no, I'm going to use this piece of information, like, to my own kind of benefit. But... And then Clarice says she thinks that he's scared of their reinforcements, and he agrees, and he says that demigods are dangerous, but that he's going to add their voices to his collection soon enough. But it seems like he already has Percy's voice, so why does he even need to meet Percy? Like, he was using Percy's voice last episode.
Yeah. Hated that.
He's, like, picked it from Grover's brain. Ugh. Alright, so then we have Percy and Annabeth once again. Annabeth goes to get their sheep disguises while Percy is keeping watch. And while Annabeth goes off on her own, guess who calls? Luke.
Ugh.
I actually, like, I love the inclusion of Luke in this episode. I think this was a great change for them to make, because in the book, he just kind of, like, they see him on the Princess Andromeda, and then he catches up with them in Miami. Like, it feels like we are weaving the Luke thread in a lot more, which I feel like is a very good change here.
Yeah.
Like, as much as he makes me crazy, I'm like, I'm glad that Luke is here, in a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And so, you know, he calls, because he wants to give Annabeth advice on Polyphemus, and he also calls them Cyclopses again. And now that I'm mad at him, I'm kind of watching this like, oh, do I sound that stupid when I call them Cyclopses instead of using the correct Cyclopes? Maybe I should change that.
I hate the word. I hate the singular and I hate the plural.
Just like Cyclops in general?
Yeah, just, I don't like it.
But then, so, Annabeth here kind of says the same thing that she says in the book. She says that Luke is right about Thalia hating, but he's wrong about her siding with Kronos because she wouldn't want change through war. So, yes, but I also think, like, we have established sort of that mistrust in her own recollection of the situation, given the fact that she was, like, 7.
Yeah.
So, I think as the audience, there is a part of us that is still supposed to be like, well, are you sure, Annabeth? And then she tells Luke that Kronos has already changed him and he doesn't know how much of himself that he's lost. And this really just reminded me of Percy in the last episode of season 1 being like, Luke, this isn't you. This is Kronos. Like, they really are the same, Percy and Annabeth.
Yeah.
And then Percy turns up and he cuts off that call so quick. I mean, even without the, like, crush piece of it all, because I don't even know if you can necessarily say that the crush piece is there for Percy even at this point, but, like, there is still a whole lot of jealousy about Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her, Luke's working an angle. You know that, right? I mean, of course she knows that. I hope she knows that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's, like, such a big difference between, like, book Annabeth, I feel, and show Annabeth when it comes to her relationship with Luke. And I feel like she's a lot more, I don't know if forgiving is the right word, but she's, like, or naive maybe in the book toward, like, Luke's intentions than she is in the show.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think she is a bit more cautious, and she is a bit more, like, I don't know, she's less She's less willing to just, like, look the other way and be like, oh, but he's Luke.
There's less hope for him, I think, in her eyes in the show than in the book. At least at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the book she doesn't want to
Admit it?
recognize how much he has been manipulated by Kronos. Like, she says in the book, she's like, he's been manipulated, like, this is not him, whatever. But here she kind of recognizes, like, yeah, he's being manipulated, but also, like, it is changing him. Like, he is losing a lot of himself, like, through this manipulation. And I think, like, that is an important thing to think about when you talk about Luke, because it's like he can be sympathetic, he can be making points, he can be this, like, child who is being taken advantage of and manipulated by this, like, older figure who is, like, trying to twist and use, like, his good intentions for evil.
Mm-hmm.
And also recognize that, like, Luke is an active participant in a lot of this. And, like, as we get deeper and deeper into it, like, Luke is making worse and worse and worse choices. And so it's like he is not totally innocent here either. But it's also like he is not the big bad.
Right, he's not being, like, totally manipulated into all of these choices. Like, he's under some influence of Kronos, but he's still actively making these choices.
Right. And I think, like, Annabeth sees a little more of the nuance in the show than she does in the book.
Yeah.
And then, kind of similar to Percy being like, Luke's working an angle, Allison's like, why are you wasting so much time on Annabeth Chase? Because that's his sister, okay? Like,
Jealous.
Get out of here, Allison. You don't even exist in the book.
She's giving girlfriend vibes.
I still wonder, like, does Luke know that the fleece could bring Thalia back? Because there's a part of me that's like, if he does in fact know that the fleece could bring her back, there also might be a part of him that's, like, wanting them to get the fleece because he knows that if, like, Thalia comes back and Thalia joins him, then Annabeth might also join him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I'm like, not to get, like, way ahead, but in the, like, next week on, Annabeth is like, Luke, I think the fleece could bring Thalia back to us, which, like, number one, there are still 2 episodes left. Why do we know that the fleece could bring Thalia back? I mean, I know that's, like, the world's worst kept secret, and, like, people who haven't read the book probably also know that Thalia would be coming back, but, like, I'm just like, why do we know that so early? And then also it's like, is Annabeth telling him that for the first time? Because we don't actually see her, like, telling Luke that, but, like, we see her say Luke like she's talking to Luke. So I don't know. What does he know? What does he know about this plan? Luke, I need you to tell me. Also, the collar of his quarter zip popped. What did they do to this to make it stand up so high? Because, like, the zipper is all the way unzipped, but the collar is, like, it's giving Vector from Despicable Me.
It's gotta be like an LL Bean or, like, Brooks Brothers. It's like a legit quarter zip.
Like a fancy quarter zip.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I own one quarter zip, and I do often wear the collar kind of popped, but that's to keep my neck warm. Not to be evil.
Not to be evil. Let me be clear.
And so, turns out, Annabeth's, like, masterfully planned disguise is literally just, like, draping sheepskin over them. Incredible.
Love.
I adore the fact that she tells him to think woolly thoughts. And he's like, what?
Insane.
That did give me a giggle. And then they both just start bleeding like sheep.
That was pretty good.
It's silly. I really enjoy that. And I want to know, did these kids have to film themselves, like, crawling around covered in fleece, like, surrounded by actual real sheep? Like, did they just put these kids in a sheep pen and say, okay, be sheep? Though when they show the, like, blurry shot of the Polyphemus's little flock, you actually can't tell if Percy and Annabeth are there, or at least I couldn't. So I guess it is actually a pretty good disguise. Also, like, as they crawl, I noticed Percy is putting one of his knees down on the ground as he goes, but Annabeth is crawling, like, full-on bear crawl, no knees touching the ground, and I just want to commend Leah Savay Jeffries on her core strength, because, girl, you're so strong. And so then they're, like, hiding behind a rock, still wrapped in their little fleece, and Percy goes to look into the little cave hole. Clarice sees him first, says Jackson, and then Grover starts saying Percy through the, like, gag in his mouth, and it sounds very silly. And they start trying to yell to him that it's a trap, but he's just like, up there with a stupid little grin, like, because he's so excited to see Grover alive. This is not the time, Percy. We have a mission.
Focus.
In a moment that I felt very seen by, he tries to, like, signal to Annabeth that there's 2 people down there, and she's like, what? Like, not getting what he's trying to tell her. I, too, cannot read lips.
It's like that. Have you seen Gen Z in the workplace? Where, like, someone's, like, mouthing, like, 2, and they just do the peace sign back or whatever, and they're like, no, 2.
No, I have not seen that, but yes.
That's Percy.
That's what this is giving.
I'll find one for you. It's so good.
Yeah, and so then he has to, like, run all the way back to be like, Clarice is alive. Clarice is not only alive, she manages to, like, get them up, pick up Grover, swing him around to break the mirror, and then she uses a piece of the broken mirror to, like, cut their ropes. This was a 10 out of 10 plan. Excellent work. Way to go, Clarice. Like, she's almost giving Annabeth a run for her money in terms of planning here, because, like, Clarice is getting stuff done.
Yeah.
So Annabeth is kind of stressed. She's like, we barely have enough time to get Grover, and now we have to get both of them. And Percy's like, well, we could always leave Clarice. As if. He's too much of a softie. And then Percy starts, they, like, tie the rope to the tree. Percy starts climbing down it. Again, these children are very, very strong. Because he's doing a great job, like, climbing slowly down this rope. I would just slide immediately, like, rope burn all over my hands.
Yeah.
Not a good time. Because, like, making children climb the rope in PE is a lost art. Like, I never did that in school. Did you do that in school?
I think we had it in elementary school. Like, we had a rope.
Oh, really?
Actually, no. It had to have been high school, but I don't know that we ever... I don't remember ever climbing it in high school.
I did, like, elementary school gymnastics, and I know there was a rope there, and that was the only time I ever, like, tried to climb a rope, and I was not very good at it because I was, like, 7. But I don't know. Maybe the Camp Half-Blood rock wall is paying off.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be pretty okay at the climbing.
I feel like that's an important skill you need.
Yes.
Like, when you're a demigod, potentially going on quests, you need to have good core strength, and you need to be able to climb.
Yes, you need to be able to climb ropes and cliffs. So really, like, I feel like I give them a lot of crap for, like, the lava rock wall, but actually, that's probably the most important training that they're doing at camp, because honestly, what else are they even training at camp? And so, as Percy is climbing, Annabeth, like, looks up and notices that the fleece is dripping gold paint. And so she clocks that the fleece is a fake. And so she tries to whisper and then, like, yell down to Percy that it's a trap. Grover and Clarice are also, like, finally free, and they're trying to tell Percy to climb back up. It's too late. Polyphemus snaps the rope, and Percy falls into Clarice's arms. Great.
So funny.
It was very funny. But, like, if I hadn't read the book, I would almost feel like they were trying to set up for, like, a Percy-Clarice relationship. Just with, like, some of the things that have happened. I don't know. And I mean, like, I don't ship Percy and Clarice. I want to be so clear about that. But there have been, like, a couple, like, the way that they were fighting in episode 4, and then, like, this, I was like, there's just, like, some little things that I'm like, this, it almost feels like they're setting up, like, an enemies to lovers situation, and I hate that. But then he also is, like, saying the sappiest stuff to Annabeth, so it's like, both are happening? I don't know.
Yeah, I love that you put that in my head.
Yeah. It is, unfortunately, in my head as well, and I'm like, eesh. I mean, at least this is our last quest with Clarice, so unless they change some things majorly, which I don't know, they might be, because it does seem like Clarice might have a bigger role in season 3, but I don't know. We'll see. After Percy, like, gets out of Clarice's arms, he also gives Grover a hug, which is very important to me, because the book never lets them hug. It's, like, it's always a fist bump, or something, or, like, a good to see you, man, and he's always, like, hugging Annabeth, but not hugging Grover. So, like, the fact that we've let the boys hug, thank you, Percy Jackson TV show. And then Annabeth, to kind of buy them some time, she starts doing the invisibility cap thing. And this is one of the things in this episode that doesn't hit for me. Because instead of, like, pretending to be nobody, she says that nobody sent her. And, like, fine, Polyphemus is less dumb. Also, we don't have Percy to, like, directly explain to us what is happening, because, like, in the book, Annabeth starts doing the, like, nobody thing, and Percy's like, oh, the nobody thing wouldn't have made sense to everybody, but, like, Annabeth explained to me that, like, this is what Odysseus did when he met Polyphemus, and, like, Percy gives us a little rundown, so, like, we as the reader know what's going on, and, like, he can't do that in the show, so Annabeth is trying to, like, both tell the audience and also talk to Polyphemus, and so I think it just, like, it misses a little bit for me, the way that she's like, oh, you know, it must have been so terrible when Odysseus, like, pretended to be nobody and then poked out your eye, and I'm like, I don't think that she would be saying this.
Yeah.
Like, we all know what happened. You don't need to, like, it would be almost more of like oh, nobody sent me. Like, he wanted to make sure that you remembered him, and like, oh, I wanted to see how your eye's been healing up. Like, that kind of, like, it just feels like we could have made it more taunting instead of, like, Annabeth spitting facts at him, you know?
Yeah.
But I do enjoy that we get the visual of Annabeth actually wearing the hat, and how, like, around her is kind of blurry, which is sort of fun, instead of, because previously every time she's had the hat on, we've just sort of heard her voice, and so I don't know, this was cool. And then Luke's making portals again.
So irritating.
It is interesting that we're using this more, because in the books he makes one in the Lightning Thief to, like, get away from camp and then never does it again. So the fact that he's doing it again is, I don't hate it, but I also I need more lore on this, and we'll get to this more a little bit later when he talks about it, but, like, I want to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And so, in, like, what will be the theme for the rest of the episode, Percy wants to go help Annabeth, Clarice wants to focus on finding the fleece. And I kind of feel like Annabeth would be more in line with Clarice here. Like, I think Annabeth would be sort of mad at Percy for being so fixated on her rather than, like, the quest.
Yeah.
And then they determine that the fleece has to be in the cave with them, and Polyphemus must have stashed it while they were passed out. And so Grover is, like, trying to sniff out the fleece, you know. And I do love that, like, at no point does he consider taking the wedding dress off. Like, I get he's got other things to worry about, but it's also, it's just, it's funny that he continues to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Luke also discovers that the fleece in the tree is fake, but he has to, you know, grab it to see that that is true. And while that is happening, Grover manages to find the real fleece. And I did not consider that a metallic fleece would just look like steel wool.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for something a bit, I don't know, more magic looking.
Right. I was like, oh, I feel like we should be scrubbing the dishes with this. Like, it's, but I mean, I guess, like, that is what the golden fleece would look like. Like, it's a sheep skin that's gold.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then I don't really understand. Polyphemus, like, notices that Luke has pulled down the fake fleece, and he's like, no! Why no? You know the fleece is fake. That's probably not even really important, but I was just like, why that reaction? Though that is also my reaction when I see Luke. I'm like, no! So Grover, Percy, and Clarice are then trying to, like, pry the cave door open. It's not really working. Polyphemus opens at a crack, which is very good for us because now we can, like, watch through the crack and see what's happening outside. Just in time, right, to see him throw Annabeth. And this is also a horrifying image. Like, we had the dead children in the beginning of the episode. Then we have, like, Annabeth crumpled in the sand, covered in blood.
Crazy.
I hated this.
She looked dead. Like, that was a beating she got.
This looked so bad. And then I'm like, how hard did he hit her?
Really?
And it also, like, it made me wonder a little bit, like, if he had hit her a little bit before as well, because, like, there was a lot of blood.
It was. It was, like, shocking.
And then Percy is, like, screaming, rightfully so, going a little bit feral. But Polyphemus still leaves, you know, the cave cracked open just enough so that we can see the plot continue. Thank you, Polyphemus.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it seems like we are about to get, like, a front row seat to watch Polyphemus, like, eat Annabeth. But then someone very important, yells at Polyphemus to get away from her. And it's Tyson.
Tyson!
And he looks like he has been on a journey. Like, he looks older,
yeah,
I think, here.
He's a little worse for wear.
And he's also so tiny compared to Polyphemus. Yeah. And also, like, I really loved the way that he doesn't like that Polyphemus calls him little brother, because he's like, no, my brother's in that cave.
Yeah.
Tyson, I love you so much. And then, for some reason, Tyson and Polyphemus start speaking, like, ancient Greek to each other. Go off, bilingual King Tyson!
That was very unexpected.
But I do enjoy this, like, I don't know, because this is sort of the second time we have seen an ancient Greek conversation. But this is also, like, the second time we've had a conversation that is subtitled in this way. The first being the guinea pigs. Because I don't think they used those subtitles in season 1 when, like, Zeus was talking to Poseidon. Or maybe they did. I don't know. It's subtitled in some way, but I didn't think it was, like, actually on the screen. I thought it was just part of the subtitles. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and rewatch that. But the, like, idea that ancient Greek is a language that, like, this world uses, I think is fun. I enjoy that. And in this ancient Greek conversation, Polyphemus says demigods are also monsters, and Tyson's like, no, Percy is a hero. I love Tyson.
He's the best.
This fight is also very stressful to me because on one hand, you have baby Tyson fighting this giant Cyclops, and then also the knowledge that, like, Annabeth is laying there somewhere. Like, we can no longer see her, but, like, she is still there. Like, do not crush her. Like, there's that moment when Tyson, like, picks up Polyphemus and, like, body slams him. Where is Annabeth?
Yeah.
Where is Annabeth in that moment? Is this happening, like, right next to her? Like, do not crush her. Tyson, you would never forgive yourself if you crushed Annabeth. And then Tyson tackles Polyphemus off a cliff.
Yeah, didn't love that.
Which is,
no,
not great.
No.
Kind of are like, well, Tyson was back for 2 seconds and now he's
gone.
Dead, question mark, again?
Like, let my boy have 1 minute of peace, please.
Let him hug his brother instead of, like, seeing him through a crack. His real brother, not Polyphemus. And then to make matters worse, Luke is here. Both times that I've watched this episode, this has been a jump scare for me because I, like, in the chaos of everything that's going on and, like, being worried about Annabeth and watching this fight, like, I have forgotten completely that, like, Luke is even here. And so then all of a sudden he's there and I'm like, ah! Luke! Jump scare. And so now we're back to the trolley problem. And so we called last week's episode R.I.P. Percy, You Would Hate the Trolley Problem. And here we actually see Percy have to face the trolley problem. And he does exactly what he said he would do. Like, he said in episode 5, if it comes down to saving Olympus or saving you, saving the quest or saving you, like, Annabeth, I would burn it all down. I mean, what did we expect? What did we expect him to do? He behaves exactly as he should. So he wants to give the fleece to Luke to heal Annabeth, because that is, like, sort of what their option is. And Clarice is like, absolutely not. And so here's where we get Luke talking a little bit more about his sword portals. And he says he can't make another portal to let them out of the cave because only one person can go through, and he already used it. Now, I think he's lying, because he did tell Percy last season that the sword was their way out of camp, and they could stay on the run using backbiters like secret doors. So why was he acting like he could take Percy then and not now, is my question.
He's a liar.
Also, going back to watch that, I was like, Walker's so little.
A baby.
So baby in season. And then I was like, okay, maybe to give Luke the benefit of the doubt, maybe the sword needs some, like, recharge time, so he really can't use it yet, or, like, maybe the first person to go through the doors is, like, the only person that could go through the doors, so, like, maybe he had never used it at that point, and if he and Percy had both gone through it, like, then they would have been able to use the doors together. I don't know. That feels like a stretch to me. Like, I think it's easier to just be like, no, he's probably lying. Like, I think he absolutely could get them out of that cave. He's just not.
When in doubt, assume Luke is lying.
He's working some kind of angle.
Yeah.
To quote Percy. No, I think he knows in that moment that he can get them to give him the fleece. Like, he has clocked Percy's fatal flaw, I think. Or at least Kronos has. Because I feel like in the Sea of Monsters book, this is not something I went back, this is something I just thought of right at this moment. I feel like it's either in Sea of Monsters or Titan's Curse. Someone tells Percy something about, like, he needs to know what his fatal flaw is because Kronos knows what his fatal flaw is. I think Chiron tells him that. So, like, I think Kronos definitely at least knows that you can get to Percy through the people that he cares about. So I'm sure Luke, by association, also knows that. In the musical, at least, Luke, like, comes to Percy and tells him, like, gets him to go on the quest by telling him that his mom is probably in the underworld. So, like, musical Luke knows Percy's fatal flaw. Anyway, Also, my hot take, Clarice is unwilling to sacrifice the quest for Annabeth. My hot take is that Annabeth would agree with Clarice. I think Annabeth will be upset to know that Percy, gave Luke the fleece just to save her. I think she will be glad to be alive, but I also think there will be a part of her that's like, Percy, how could you risk the quest like that?
Yeah, that makes sense for her character.
Yeah. And so it's very funny that they're having this whole conversation and Grover is really trying to reason with Clarice, but then Percy just yoinks the fleece right out of her arms and gives it to Luke. Very classic Percy. And there is a split second, my first time watching, where Luke is standing there holding the fleece, where I thought, oh my god, is he about to walk away right now and not heal Annabeth? I mean, of course not, for a multitude of reasons, but I was like, oh my gosh, the fact that I even thought that he might not save Annabeth, I think that says a lot about what I think about Luke and his character. Yeah. I mean, number one, of course he has to save Annabeth because she has plot armor, and how are we going to heal her if not the fleece? We can't kill Annabeth. And then number two, I think this would make Luke 100% unsympathetic way too early. I was almost expecting the villain thanks Percy and him to just walk off. That would have been crazy. I would have been gagged. But he does put the fleece on her, and it is a cute detail that her hair and clothes start glittering as she's being healed. I do enjoy that. And then my reactions to what then happens is he picks up her knife and I was like, no, Luke, give that back. And then he picks her up and I went, no, Luke, give her back. He's just taking all sorts of things that don't belong to him.
Yeah, what the hell?
And then Clarice is like, great job, dumbass. You've killed us. You've killed Camp, and honestly, you've probably killed Annabeth too. Just thinking about Athena telling him to save a friend, he would sacrifice the world. Percy, look what you've done. And again, I hope that he faces some consequences for this. I hope Annabeth is mad at him. I hope that they have... I mean, obviously they're going to get the fleece back, because otherwise, why are we doing all this? But... I don't know, I hope that there are some actual consequences for this, because I feel like that might be good for Percy to see that, hey, there are consequences to your actions. And, just when Clarice seems to be giving up and is like, we're all gonna die here, Tyson returns and rolls the door away. Yay, Tyson. And I love that we sort of skip over the, Grover being afraid of Tyson, which I really enjoy. But then again, does that happen in this book at all, or is that just a random thing that happens in the fourth book? Because do you remember that all of a sudden they just don't really like each other, and it's Grover's scared of Cyclops and Tyson's allergic to goat fur, just randomly.
I want them to be friends.
Yeah, and they sort of are. Tyson goes and injures himself, and Grover's like, "You're Tyson."
Yeah,
it's very cute. And then he asks what happened to Polyphemus, and Tyson just says he won't bother anyone again.
Did you kill him?
Tyson, did you kill someone? I guess there is the possibility that, as they are leaving the island, Polyphemus could still throw rocks at them, because, I don't know. We'll talk a little bit more about episode titles here in a second, but I don't think we're gonna see Polyphemus again, but also I feel like need to. I don't know what's happening there. Because, in the book, Percy is going to, stab Polyphemus, and Polyphemus, is like, no, who would watch my sheep? And then Percy, really thinks of Tyson and is like, I can't kill this guy. And then he makes him, promise that he's not going to come after them. And then he, of course, breaks that promise. And as they're leaving on the ship, he throws a bunch of rocks. And Clarice is, taunting him as they're leaving. And then he, finds Clarice's voice and manages to hit their ship. And then it sinks. And that's why the chapter title is I Go Down with the Ship. And that's what the next episode is called. So I'm like, maybe there will still be rock.
Yeah.
But they don't leave on ships. And this is getting ahead of ourselves because we're not quite till the end, but they leave on the hippocampi. So why is the next one I Go Down with the Ship?
Which, by the way, I pictured looking more like manatees. I don't
yes.
know why, but I got a manatee vibe from that.
Yes.
They look more like horses.
That makes sense.
Like Pegasi, but swim.
They do. And I mean, I guess that makes sense, because they're fish ponies. Yeah. Bessie the Ophiotaurus is definitely manatee adjacent to me. But yeah, I think manatee is sort of the closest thing I was thinking for hippocampi.
Maybe it was the hippo part,
Yeah.
It doesn't really sound like a horse.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I love that Tyson says, you know, Luke has Annabeth and I would have gone after them, but, like, you were still here, to Percy. And then Percy gives Tyson the biggest hug.
We love it. Love the brothers.
It's also very cute that Percy goes, I thought I'd never see you again. And Tyson goes, I always knew I'd see you. I love him so much. Like, those are my sons. Oh, also, Annabeth's just, like, leaving her hat behind the rock. Titan's curse foreshadowing?
True.
To me? How many times is Percy gonna have this girl's hat? And then it also appears that Luke steals the ship that Percy and Annabeth came in on.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a jerk move. But at least, you know, Tyson does call for Rainbow, which we already talked about. So, more on the chapter titles that I promised. Calling this one No One Gets the Fleece feels incorrect. Because,
yeah,
like, Luke very clearly gets the fleece. And Annabeth didn't really pretend to be nobody, you know? So, but also there's not, like, a better chapter title option. Like, I feel like with some of the changes that they've made, the titles that they're choosing no longer fit, but then there's also, like, not a better title. And then there are 4 chapters of this book left, but we have 2 whole episodes, which is wild. Because, like, I feel like we could do all of this in, like, 1 episode.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, are we going to get a second chariot race in episode 8? Or is it just going to be, like, a big camp battle? Because that is what it seems like where we are headed. I don't know. It's also, again, interesting that Annabeth has apparently had a vision that Thalia could come back, and that we are being told that information.
Hate that.
We also, on the next week on, have Percy, like, running, holding the fleece, covered in blood. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. We also have Blackjack at the end, so, again, my theory that Clarice will be taking Blackjack to camp does seem like it may come to fruition. So, yeah. Overall, I thought this was a good one.
I liked it, yeah. Definitely a good, like, bounce back from episode 5. Like, it wasn't terrible, but, like, this is definitely better.
Yes, I would agree. I mean, I'm interested to see where we go. I feel like there will be a lot of stuff added, just because there's not that much book left for 2 whole. Mm-hmm. And it also, like, it seems like episode 8, the vibes I'm getting, it's just like there are going to be a lot of changes to episode 8, yeah. I'm thinking. So, we will see. Yeah. Any final thoughts from you on this one?
I don't think so. Overall, you know, good episodes. Really interested to see how they wrap it all up.
Yeah. I can't believe we only have 2 left.
I know. That went by so quick.
I know. TV shows now really go by so fast. Because instead of having, like, 20 episodes and it coming out for, like, 20 weeks, you have 8 episodes and it comes out for, like, not very long. Give us longer seasons.
I miss watching, like, TV, Succession every week. Like, on Sundays. That was so much. It was just fun.
It is fun to have a weekly TV release. I'm glad that we're moving back to that, because for a little while it was like shows would just drop the whole season all at once. I do like having a set time and being able to, like, unpack and dissect and enjoy. Speaking of unpacking, dissecting, and enjoying, we'll be back next week to talk about episode 7. It'll be a grand old time. And then we'll be back to talk about 8 after that, which is nutso. See ya later. Hi, thanks for listening. As always, you can find us on whatever social media platform you prefer at DemigodDebutPod, or feel free to send us an email to demigoddebut@gmail.com. If you like this podcast, please leave us a rating and review wherever it is you are listening. We'll see you next time. Bye!